It's a verdict as divisive as the man himself. Delwar Hussain Saidi was found guilty and sentenced to be hanged. His crimes include murder, rape and torture during the 1971 civil war in Bangladesh. He denies all the charges. The court ruled he helped violent pro-Pakistan groups kill and maim the local population during the war for independence.
He has been convicted to the highest as the death penalty, and the other out of 20, 8 charges have been proved without reasonable doubts, beyond reasonable doubts. So those comprises the killing, deportation, transformation, conversions, murder, rape, etc.
Mass demonstrations in the streets of Dhaka for weeks now have been calling for death sentences to be handed out to those on trial.
Razakars, Al-Badr and Al-Sams, all of them have violated our mothers, sisters, and their acts are also against the country. We demand the trial of all Razakars. And we have come here to show our solidarity with these young people, and we want the execution of war crime suspects.
He is a leading figure in the religious party Jamaat-e-Islam, which says the trial was a sham and politically motivated because Jamaat is in opposition to the government.
They have chosen Bangladesh Jamaat Islami after 42 years of the liberation only because of political reason, because they want to suppress opposition political parties. Only because of political reason they are killing the leaders of Jamaat Islami in the name of trial.
Jamaat party supporters and religious activists have called a countrywide strike, and scenes across the country continue to reflect the sheer breadth of response to the death sentence. More accused war criminals are to be tried by the court, and those calling for the death sentence say they will stay in the streets until a similar verdict is given to all those accused. Jane Ferguson, Al Jazeera.
All right, let's talk now to Masood Saidi. He's the son of Jamaat-e-Islami leader Delwar Hussain Saidi. He joins us from the Bangladeshi capital, Dhaka. Masood Saidi, first of all, what's your response to the death penalty verdict handed down by the tribunal today?
Let me correct the number first. You said that 30 people have been killed. It has raised to 60 already. Countrywide, these people from most community people has raised their voice against this verdict, and the 60 people already died so far. And we believe that the verdict is totally politically motivated, and as the last speaker said, that this verdict, and they are trying to actually stop the Islamic politics and movement from Bangladesh.
So what are the legal options open to you and the Jamaat-e-Islami party now? I mean, will you appeal the verdict?
Well, we certainly definitely go to appellate division with appeal, and we believe that we'll get justice in that court.
I mean, from the beginning, though, these tribunals have faced criticism both from within Bangladesh and the international community, from organizations like Human Rights Watch. Is there a feeling there that your father might not have received a fair trial?
Yeah, there was confusion, and there was opinion from, as you said, international community, International Bar Association, Human Rights Watch, and also U.S. Congress, that the trial is not fair, and the process is not fair as well. So we were afraid of this verdict, and this has come out. So yeah.
Well, let's just talk briefly about your father's involvement during the War of Independence back in 1971. I mean, the fact remains that during that war, millions of people died, many were tortured and abused by local Islamist militias like the Al-Badr group. So what was your father's involvement with that group then?
Well, if you see the verdict, you can see that my father wasn't just ordinary man, as the judge speaks up at the beginning of the verdict, that Mr. Saidi was not involved in any politics, rather he was a very ordinary people. And that's my question, that how an ordinary people who was not familiar that much at that time could be, it's possible for him to make such a large number of crimes and atrocities.
But the Bangladeshi...
The judge said at the beginning of the verdict.
Yeah, but the Bangladeshi government does say that the trials are fair, and there does seem to be widespread public support in the country for the trials. But do you think the people who committed those crimes should be brought to trial, no matter that they happened over 40 years ago?
There is no doubt that every criminal should come to trial for justice. But the question is, what the government has said, they could not prove it in the court because if you look after these two issues where the verdict has come out, number one, Ibrahim Kuti, whose wife actually filed a case in 1972 for the murder of his husband, and Mr. Saidi's name was not there. And 4 or 5 people already convicted in that case. So today, very interestingly, the Ibrahim Kuti's case come again. And if you see the Hisham Ali's case, Shukab Ali, who is already abducted, who was abducted from the court, as you all know, as we've seen in Al Jazeera as well, that he said that Mr. Saidi was not involved in his...
Let me just... All right, let me just jump in here with a final thought from you. Jamaat has called for widespread strike action. Thousands of people have already been on the streets. We're seeing pictures here on our screens at Al Jazeera, the violence which led up to the ruling today. Do you not think, though, that by calling for strike action, calling for protests and calling for instability, you're actually further dividing the country along political lines?
Well, it's not us, it's the government who has divided the country. Because it is not only Jamaat Islami. Mr. Delal Hussain Saidi, Allama Delal Hussain Saidi is one of the popular Islamist preacher for the last 15 years, in the 50 years in this country. Most people do go to his mahfil and listen to what he's saying. Because and he's one of the popular figure, as the verdict says, if you see the verdict. So the most people come out from their home and show their protest against this verdict. So it's not that we divide the country, rather the government and the unfair trial who has given this verdict has made this country divided.
Okay, Masood Saidi, thank you for talking to Al Jazeera.